Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be testing out some new drugstore makeups. I'm super excited. There's two products I just couldn't find, or in my Ulta or Walmart or whatever, they just didn't have them in stock. So I'm just gonna get started. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and click the bell right down below so you can be notified of all of my future uploads. So we are going to just jump right in. So I'm actually gonna be using the Tati Beauty Blendiful. So I will link my review of it, and there is a giveaway on it that is open till February 1st. So I will link that video up here somewhere to show you, and I've been really loving this. The first time I used it, I got 2 uses out of it before I had to wash it. I'll probably wash it more often, so after every use for the liquid one, and then I got a second one for powders, but the powders probably every other. So let's just jump right in. So the first product used is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. I really like the original e.l.f. Putty Primer, but this one is so cool. If you can see, I don't know if you can see, it has like glittery look to it, and it's pretty shiny inside. So we're gonna use that. And I'm just going to take the Blendiful and go right in with this. And just take some of it, because this does work best with pore filling primer. And that's what the putty one is. So far, so good. It definitely does have glitter to it, which is really strange. I'm just going to pack this in a little bit. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see how this looks up close. So you can see it kind of gives a little luminosity to the skin. So you can see, like, over here there's not as much luminosity as there is right here. So that is really nice. And this is super easy to work with. Barely used any of it. Next up, for foundation, I'm going to use the new Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid. So I got the shade Classic Ivory because that's what I am in the Dream City Urban, whatever that is, the Dream Urban Cover one from them. So I figured I'll use that shade. So we'll try that out. I'm just going to use the same section I used for the primer. Just do one squirt and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this shade should work. Zoom back at a tiny bit. But this works so good on just blending out. It's just so easy to work with, this Blendiful. And it gives the skin and the makeup such a smooth, flawless look to it. So I'm not sure what the cover, oh, this is medium coverage. So this definitely looks medium coverage over here. Once I finish the face, I'll zoom you in so you can see really the coverage. So I just did a second pump on the other side, and this should be good for the whole face since this is a medium coverage foundation. So this foundation is definitely medium coverage. I'm going to add a little bit more just in here to see if it is a buildable one. Because sometimes they say medium coverage, but you can actually build it. So I'm going to do like a half a pump and dab it on both sides, and then I'll blend. Oh yeah, that can be built up. That's nice. I do like foundations that are medium coverage that can be built up to full for like every day, because sometimes I don't want super full coverage and sometimes I do. So I like that. And I like to just build it up usually in this area because that's where I have some redness. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what this foundation looks like. So you can see it does give a good amount of coverage. It's not full coverage, like I said. It's definitely medium, and I built it up a little bit in here, but it's still a nice finish. It's supposed to be a, I don't know what type of finish it's supposed to be. It just says visibly improves the look of skin. So I think it's supposed to be your skin but better look. So a natural finish. Next up, I'm super excited for this. I'm going to be testing out the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So it's the same one as the, if I can find it, the 16-hour Camo Concealer, but it's supposed to be hydrating. So I got the same shades I've used before. So I got medium peach and medium sand. So I'm going to hold them up and see which shade will look the best. So I think I'm going to go with the lighter one, and if we need to go in darker. So I'm going to go with the medium peach and try it out. And I love the e.l.f. doe foot. It's so big. It reminds me of the Tarte Shape Tape. Oh yeah, this shade should work really good. And it definitely does feel more hydrating than the regular e.l.f. Camo Concealer. It's looser, but hopefully it gives the same amount of coverage because I love the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. So I'm just going to fold a corner and just dab it on. So far it looks like it's giving the same coverage, but we'll really be able to tell under the eyes. Go in. Oh yes. It does look like it's the same coverage that the regular 16-hour e.l.f. Camo Concealer gives. So I love that because I definitely need the hydration for winter time where I live. It is just brutal on my skin and just makes my skin so dry. But I do like this. Definitely works, and it definitely is that full coverage concealer like the original one was, or is. I guess I should say it's still out. And that definitely is a more matte concealer, the 16-hour Camo Concealer. You can see, you really can't see any of my redness at all. It just covers it right up. So next up, we're going to jump into setting powder. So I'm going to use the CoverGirl True Blends Loose Mineral Powder in shade Banana. So I know this has been out for a little bit, but I haven't tried it. It says it's a new shade. So I'm going to try it and see what it looks like. I was going to use the Satin Matte Powder Foundation for Makeup Revolution. So I had to order this online from Ulta, and they sent me the wrong shade, and then I told them, so they sent me a replacement that was supposed to be the right shade, and it was still the exact same wrong shade. So they just refunded my money. I was like, oh, so something's going on with their bins or something, wherever they store it, that they mislabeled them. So this is what the powder looks like. I've heard that it is a dupe for the Fenty Beauty powder, so we'll see. I love that powder. So I'm just going to take my other blendable that I use for powder products and just dip right in and see how this sets down. Definitely is easy to work with. Ooh, I like it. And it looks a lot darker. You can see in this, like, it looks pretty dark than what it actually goes on, and it does brighten my eyes pretty good. So I probably will use this. And it does feel very similar to the Fenty Beauty. The Fenty Beauty just has like a slight scent to it. This doesn't really have a scent at all. Yeah, like no real scent. And I love using the Blendful for pretty much every product besides eyeshadow. I have been using the Blendful for, and it works so nice. And you don't have to use nearly as much product. I think I still use the same amount of foundation just to get that coverage that I like sometimes. But for powders, I've definitely been using way less because it just goes so much farther. So next up, I'm going to do my eyebrows and use the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt Gel Brow Mascara. I'm the shade Warm Brown. Let's open this up. My favorite brow product that I use is the Tarte Busy Gal Brow. So this, I'm hoping, is similar because it's at a cheaper price point, but I use that if like I'm doing full glam. I don't really do my eyebrows on a daily basis just because they're huge. Ooh, this is nice. So here's the wand. So one side you can see has like long bristles, and then the other side is short bristles. That is so cool. So let's go in and see how this is gonna look. So I'm gonna use the long bristle side, I think, just because I have long hairs already, so maybe that will work the best. Just gonna go in. Ooh, that is nice. This shade definitely is the good shade for me. I tend to go a little bit lighter shade than what my eyebrows naturally are. It just gives me the best look to them to make them look the most natural. So you can see, just fills in all the little bare spots that I have. You see my background moving around. My dog's already here trying to mess around. Like, you can see it just moving. My little dog's trying to get all over and get away from the big dog. So hopefully the big dog does not knock it down. Okay, let's move on to the other side. Hair going all up in my face. And I like how small the brush is because you can really get in on the tips of the eyebrow. I guess the tail, I should say. This is really nice and just places all the hairs in place. Voila. Next up, I'm going to test out the Maybelline eyeshadow palette, the Nudes of New York. It said it was new on Ulta and at Walmart, so we'll see how this works out. It's definitely my shades. The only complaint I have with the Maybelline palettes is they always have this clear front. They never have a mirror in them, so I'm just gonna grab a little mirror and start. My dog just went under the bed and found a bone because she likes to hide them under there from the big dog. So I'm gonna go in first with this shade Soloist right here and just put that all over the lid. So a big fluffy brush just to set down some color. And I like using a big fluffy brush because you only have to like really wipe over a tiny bit. Next up, I'm gonna go into the shade Explorer right here. And just start deepening up the crease. I'm just gonna take that, just run it along. The shades are blending pretty good. They're very pigmented, which is nice, and they blend super easily. So next I'm going to take an even smaller brush and go into this shade Self Starter. So it's like a true like chocolate brown shade. And pack that on the outer V of the eye. And then bring it in a little bit just to blend it in, but not too much so it's not super harsh. So I'm just going to go in with the clean fluffy brush just to go along the top, just to blend that all out and get rid of the harsh lines. And then I'm going to take that Self Starter shade on a flat top brush and just really pack that in on the lower lash line. And then I'm just going to take like a rounded smudger brush and take that Explorer shade and just smudge out that color a little bit. Next up, I'm going to go in all over the lid with this shade Dreamer right here. And I'm just going to spray some MAC Fix Plus on a brush. Just go in with this shade. All over the lid. Ooh, that is pretty. Ooh, I like that shade. That was so pretty. Just a nice nude color. And then I'm going to take just that fluffy brush we used for the dark shade and just blend out along the edge those colors. And then I got a liquid eyeshadow to try out. So this is new from e.l.f. Looks like this. So it reminds me of the Stylist ones. So I'm going to use the shade Flirty Birdie on the lid. I think I'm going to try to do it more in the center and see what that looks like. So it definitely reminds me of the Stila ones. It's very sparkly and pretty. So just put this on the center part. Just like amps up that center part, and then I'm going to take that brush we used for the shimmer shade and kind of like blend it out on either side. But if you can see the difference, it has like a pop right in the center on this eye compared to this eye. And voila, that is the shade. I really like this e.l.f. one. It feels very, very similar to the Stila. It doesn't crease all that much. Like, it still is very pretty, and it looks just like the Stila ones. And for probably a quarter the price. So that is really great buy. Next up, I'm gonna go back into the eyeshadow palette and do the originator on my inner corner and beneath my brow bone. Ooh, that is pretty color. So I don't have any new liquid eyeliner or pencil liner, so I'm just going to take the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Honey Dude and just run this along my waterline. So it's just a nude liner. But the ColourPop ones are my favorite just because they last all day. So next up, I'm going to be going back in with the Blendiful and use the corner of it. We're going to try out the new Revlon SkinLights collection. So this is the bronzer. So this is the Prismatic bronzer in Sunkissed Beam. So it looks like that. So it looks very pretty. It definitely has sparkles, which I like for a bronzer that's all over the face. So just take a corner with the Blendiful and bend it. And then just get some product on. And we'll just... So this is definitely a lighter color bronzer, but it is beautiful. I'm just gonna take it and blend, blend, blend. And the Blendiful works so nice for pretty much every product you have. Look at that. That's a very pretty bronzer, and it's not like too dark of a bronzer. This, I think, was the darkest shade they had at my Walmart. I'm not sure if it's the darkest shade in the collection. It's just the darkest shade they had at my Walmart. So there was one lighter shade and then this shade. So it wasn't a very big collection of bronzers, but I like it. It definitely works with my skin tone. It's not too harsh. Next up for blush, I'm going to use the new NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte Bronzer. So this is the shade Daydream. Just looks like this. It's like a nice corally shade, which I really like corals. And then just take the other corner of that powder Blendiful. Just take some product. Hopefully this isn't too much. Ooh, that is pretty. Very pretty shade. It's definitely like a more summery shade, I would say. Just make me want summer, but it is very pretty. Next, I'm gonna use another product from the Revlon SkinLights collection. So this is the highlighter, and this is Daybreak Glimmer. If I can get it open. It's like this, it's like a goldy, icy color. Just gonna take that Blendiful, just take some of this highlighter, just a little bit on here, and just see. Ooh, that is pretty. It's definitely a more subtle highlighter. It's not like, whoa, but this is more like an everyday beautiful highlighter, and it's a beautiful color. You can see, just is beautiful. I like it. So far, pretty much all the products, or not pretty much, all the products I got are really good, and I am loving them. And then just down my nose and on my Cupid's bow. But that is a beautiful highlighter, and they had different shades. I don't remember if this was the lighter or the darker one, because they only had 2, maybe 3 shades at my Walmart. So again, not a big selection, but This is definitely a pretty one. It reminds me of the Milk Makeup highlighter in the shade Iced. You can see, like, they're very similar shades. So, I think this could be a dupe for the Milk Makeup. The Milk Makeup is a little more popping highlighter, but you can probably build this Revlon up to get to the same, and it's way cheaper. I have a new lipstick, so I'm just gonna put on a Morphe one. Let me line my lips real quick with the NYX Nude Retractable Liner. And then I'm just going to use a Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Virgin. So this is like a really pretty nude. And I like their liquid lipsticks. They just dry down really good. And they smell like candy. So the final product I have to test out is the new Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. So I'm super excited for this. The wand has like a slight hourglass shape, but it's not majorly hourglass shape. So I'm gonna go with this and see what it does to my lashes. I love the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara, so hopefully I like this one. So it definitely does give a lift to it. It doesn't lengthen as much, but it gives volume to the lashes, which I like. I don't necessarily need a ton of lengthening because my lashes are already pretty long, but it definitely is very pretty. Like, you can see the difference. Like, it kind of looks like I'm wearing like subtle falsies, which that's what it claims it's for. You can see comparison of this side to this side. It definitely is really good at bringing those lashes up and volumizing them without making it clumpy, which I really like. I don't like mascaras that make my lashes look too clumpy. Hi, buddy. So this is the completed look that I get using all of these new drugstore products. So make sure you check them out. They were amazing. I especially like this mascara and the liquid eyeshadow from e.l.f. and the primer from e.l.f. It definitely gives my skin, when you look up close, you can't really see it on camera, but there's like a glow to it from that primer, which is really nice and great for dry skin, which I have right now. Sometimes it's combo or normal, but right now it's dry skin, so I really like it. Make sure you check out my Instagram. It's m.hartman5, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!